Hi guys, thank you for watching my channel. Today I would like to talk about the archetype Aries, and I'd like to go a little bit deeper into what this archetype means. I know that there's your traditional astrology where we talk about the personality types and a little bit like the stereotypes, but I just want to take it a step deeper, and I want to use evolutionary astrology mixed with kind of like a hybrid mix of traditional astrology. So we're going to do a little bit of both, but I've been reading a lot of Jeffrey Wolf Green and I've been super inspired, and I'm excited to share this video with you guys. The archetype of Aries, this is the originator, this is the survivor, and this is also the warrior. The key word for Aries is I am. I am, therefore I am. And Aries is a cardinal sign. Cardinal means that this is where we initiate things. And Aries is the first of the fire signs. Fire is how it's our energy, it's our enthusiasm, and it's our inspiration. Fire is forceful, it is intense, it is bold, and it is impulsive. It is part of the life force. All of the fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, these are the life givers. It's what helps us survive. It's what warms our bones in the chilly night, and that keeps us inspired and wanting to live and kind of just push through any circumstance in life. Aries is the point of all beginnings. Wherever Aries is in the charts, it's where we are beginning things. This is like a fresh start, like a clean plate. Basically, Aries is the beginning of a cycle. It is the beginning of an incarnation cycle where you are starting over. You are building that personality from scratch. There's just a little remnants of that innocence of Pisces that was dissolved, that is now being just burst like a glowing flame, like a fire pit. And that is Aries. It's like a spark that just bursts out of nowhere because it had so much life and energy force within it. Aries is the first impulse of the life force into activity. It's the descent of the divine spark into manifestation. Aries is a masculine sign, which is yang, which means that it's moving away from the center. That it's not, the purpose of this energy within Aries is not to go within. It's not that unification of Neptune or yin, feminine. It's masculine. It wants to go out into the world. It needs to express itself. It needs an outlet. Aries teaches us courage. It's about taking action and taking initiative. It represents the will to triumph over any intimidation, any obstacle, and any doubt. Aries wants exactly what it wants, and it's gonna do exactly what it wants. This is very, Aries rules Mars, and Mars energy is very much caveman. Like, I need to eat, I need to survive, I'm gonna shoot that animal, drag him into my cave, then I'm gonna steal that woman, I'm gonna drag her into my cave, because this is survival, right? This is Mars Aries energy. This natural energy is pretty brutal. If you think about it, this is primal, the most primal of all primals. Aries is a sign that is most aware of the self, and this is an extremely concentrated awareness of the self, because Aries doesn't know anything other than the self, because remember, we are starting from a clean slate. Aries is the beginning. It hasn't yet gone through all the signs, and it hasn't become complex yet, and all of its energy is focused on the self and on survival and on these primal needs. It's basically the beginning process of building the personality. It is largely unaware of anything other than itself. All of the energy is self-centered and self-directed, and that is how it was created to be. Before we can give oneself away, there needs to be a self to give. And so, hence, this is why Aries is I am. And this is not a complex, calculating kind of self-focus. This is a very innocent, pure self-focus. This is the kind of self-focus that's just happy to be self-focused. It's like, why wouldn't I be self-focused? All I know is me. There is a reason for everything in our charts, and this doesn't just apply to an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant. We all have an Aries within our chart. We all have Aries within us. So wherever Aries is within our chart, this is where we are beginning afresh. This is where we need to learn self-direction, and we need to be more self-focused within that area of our life. That is what this energy is trying to tell us within our evolutionary process. This archetype, this primal archetype, is fiery with a glowing hunger for life. They develop through courage, through strength, through leadership, through impulsiveness. It's just this drive to move forward no matter what. This puts them on a lifelong quest, on the adventure to find and understand the self. They are pioneers, and they tend to rush in where others fear to tread. They are the ones in an emergency situation that they're like, I got this. They don't necessarily think it out. They just act it out. And these impulsive urges come from a deeper part of their soul that they are not aware of, because Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. But what Mars does is it takes the unconscious drives of Pluto, within the depths of our soul, and it instinctually acts them out in our lives. And so there's never something that we act on that doesn't have a deeper purpose, that doesn't actually have a meaning on it. So although Aries is acting this out and is not consciously aware of it, the things that they do all have a deeper purpose and meaning, and it's absolutely a part of their evolutionary journey to go out and exert and to be active and to act out these inner impulses. It's actually very important for them, and it's actually how they learn. It's what you see is what you get. This is not calculating or complicated energy. And even though on the surface they may seem extremely confident and assertive, and there's just really no delay with them, you know, they're just like bup, 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 bup. Underneath the exterior, there is some subconscious inadequacies that they may struggle with. Aries has an extremely active and keen intelligence that is aware that there is a whole lot out there that is not Aries. This is not the archetype that is gonna dwell on that on a deeper level, and they're not gonna like mince that up and go or analyze it like a Virgo. But there's just an awareness. They can watch others, and there's a sense of something missing, like, what am I missing that this person knows or understands on a deeper level that I am not yet aware of, because of the newness of Aries, because of the freshness, the clean slate. Their mind is very active and they're very extroverted in that sense. But deep down, and this could be probably mostly unconscious for an Aries archetype, there's just this deep hidden insecurity that something in them is lacking. And even though Aries is happy due to their kind of simple, uncluttered nature, they really struggle to relax in that happiness, because there's always this feeling of incompleteness. And this is part of the evolutionary purpose, to get that inner drive, to always keep them in this motion. They're restless. They need to go out and find out what it is that's missing. And so this is all part of the evolutionary purpose with Aries, because it generates the need to go out and find the self, to learn about life, to find out what they're made of, who they are. And this is why this is one of the deepest inner drives of an Aries. It's the search for self and to find identity and to build that personality. Part of the Aries evolutionary lesson is also to learn the proper use of aggressive as well as impulsive energy. They need to learn how to conserve that energy where it's needed, because Aries is just in full throttle mode. Just go, 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 think later, and put out the fires as they happen, kind of thing. They don't necessarily have a naturally built-in understanding of a need to conserve energy, or a need that they need rest, or that it's just not a natural instinct yet. And so this is something that they learn over time. A lot of how Aries actually learns this is by putting out the fires that they themselves created through impulsive actions. A lot of times Aries will create their own crisis, and through putting out those fires of the crisis, this is how they grow and evolve naturally. Aries and Mars specifically is about our desires. And when we want something, it's not just coming from anywhere. It's coming from deep within ourselves, within our soul. And although Mars is about consciously going out and getting what we desire, there is a lot of unconscious motivation that is creating that conscious desire. So there are really two desires from the soul, and this is something that Jeffrey Wolf Green talks about. He's an evolutionary astrologer, and he says that one desire of the soul is to separate from that which created it. And the other desire that is equally as strong is to return back to the source that created it. For our own evolution, it is our separating desire that is pulling us out into the world to express ourselves. And it's ultimately about eliminating these separate desires by the natural process to need to live out these desires. It's like something that we have to just live out to get to the other side. And it's really about an elimination process where we become more purified. And at that point, once we are completely purified, the one desire that is left is to unite back with our divine nature and with the source that created us. The philosophy is that that is evolution. And so, in a sense, Aries needs to go out and to explore, to initiate, to penetrate through boundaries, to rise to the challenge, to win, to be number one. All of these natural impulses, which is Aries, this drive, and Mars, it's how we go out consciously and manifest in the world. So this part of ourselves is how we, over time, evolve. Aries can become very angry and aggressive if their personal freedom is limited or if they feel confined in any way. This is because they have such a need for independence, for going out and finding out who they are. You know, they don't want to be limited, because that would hold them back from doing the evolutionary goal that they need to do, or at least that is how it feels. However, it's actually really important for Aries to evolve. They need to actually embrace more of their polar opposite, which is Libra. And Libra is about others. It's about equality and balance. It's about thinking before we act. It's about listening. Libra is the psychology of listening. This is something that Aries over time does need to embrace, Because the nature of Aries and the nature of fire, there needs to be an outlet. Aries needs this every day. It needs to go out and be courageous every single day, whether that is moving their body, whether that is meeting a work challenge, whether that is learning something new and achieving goals. They need that. They need to drive. They need to push themselves every day in order to function healthy and to stay out of the shadow of Aries. If Aries meets so much opposition, this will shut them down and make them feel like they can't assert themselves, or they can't, why even rise to the challenge, or it could just really beat down on their self-confidence. This is when an Aries can actually become very depressed. And I don't think a lot of people think of Aries as a sign that is depressed, but if they are not able to find an outlet for this intense, fiery, bold energy that just needs to go, 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 they can become extremely depressed. Even worse than that, they can actually be prone to self-harm because of that. If they can't go out and fight a battle, that battle will turn internally against themselves. And so it is so, so important for Aries to find a balance on how to assert themselves aggressively, how to use that energy productively. And because their health can suffer because of it, Aries rules the head. And so when they are not able to, that valve of expression of that energy, if it's being shut, and if that fire is not able to get the air and to get out the way that it needs to, they can have severe headaches, like something wants to explode inside of them, and it manifests on a physical level. So it's just very important for them to always have an outlet, to always have a challenge. And another way that this could manifest is, instead of going out and meeting a challenge out in their life, they will fight wars with the people around them. They will create wars that are unnecessary. Take up a new hobby, whether it's skateboarding or surfing. Get out in the sun. Aries needs to be out in the sun. It needs to sweat in the sun. It needs to exert itself completely, just exhaust itself. Aries, Mars, on a very primal level, it's a dangerous energy. It's like a knife. Aries wants to cut through things. It needs action. They're like race car drivers. It's just pedal to the metal 100% of the time. You don't need a rear view mirror because they're not looking in it. Racing into the future, that is Aries. On a last note here, I do want to say that you do need to incorporate your Libra polarity, because that is the key to finding balance. There's a saying that it's like Beauty and the Beast. Beauty being Libra and Aries being the beast. It's kind of funny because it's really what these archetypes are like. Aries needs to learn that to truly be complete, it needs to include others. It needs to consider others. It also needs to consider thinking before acting, so that it can learn how to guide its own energies in a more efficient and more effective manner. It's not that they can't go out and achieve great things, or that they can't be bold or intense and to push boundaries. It's just the need to harness that energy in an appropriate way, and to learn how to handle it in a way that is not destructive, that is self-aware. Aries can move past all kinds of things in life. They are the ultimate survivor. They have the bravery and courage to move forward no matter what they've experienced, no matter what they've been through. This is the archetype that gets up and keeps going. And it's that inner glow, it's that inner fire that does this for them. It's part of being the life givers, the original life giver. This primal instinct within them that wants to fight for justice, that wants to defend, that wants something to die for, that is just so inspiring. and full of life. Being around someone who is heavy in their Aries energy, it really is uplifting. It's inspiring. It's energizing being around that kind of energy, because it just is. It's glowing. It's powerful in its own right. It was the original spark from above that ignited life, all life forms. It is the beginning of all life forms. So I just want to leave you with that this is a really powerful and beautiful energies. And all you need to do is to embrace some of that polarity of the Libra, and you will be well on your way to more wholeness and fighting those battles that you need to fight in the best way possible. That is my interpretation of the Aries archetype. I hope that this was helpful. Please leave comments and let me know your guys' experiences, or just anything that you think or feel about this video. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, thank you guys. Bye.